You're sporting your clinical jacket today.
Yeah, man. You want to start with that? I got this at the nurses' meeting in Columbus.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet jacket.
It's
man.
a good jacket.
I think Danielle made this up.
Yeah.
Maybe. Thanks, Danielle.
I passed them out.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Thank you, too.
You're welcome.
Nice of him, isn't it?
I thought that was a big deal. Well, you're really prepared today.
You bet, man. I came ready to have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
This is
have
a big
great
day.
Conversation with Parnian.
Well, let's go ahead and get to that. Let's figure out who's here today. That sound all right to you?
Uh-huh.
Hey. This is never a... Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome into the studio. Welcome in. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do here at Village Caregiving, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Parnian Adkins. I am a billing specialist. I work from home. Mm-hmm. I work for Leanne and on her team.
Leanne Woda.
Leanne Woda, the one. She's kind of famous.
Parnian is great at her job, too.
She is.
Wow.
She's like Leanne. By the way, I know that a lot of people call you PJ. Do you prefer that? What would you like to be called on this podcast?
Parnian's good.
Parnian.
I mean, if
I've
you
always
don't
called
mind
you-
saying it, it's...
I've always called you Parnian.
You
but-
have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Parnian's great.
Who?
PJ's like the easier.
Yeah.
If you can't pronounce Parnian.
How often, well, with my accent, it's super easy to pronounce the hard names. How many people do you think, let's say percentage-wise, call you PJ versus Parnian?
In my adult life,
Yeah.
maybe like 5% call me PJ.
Really?
Yeah.
And in high school,
Like 90.
PJ?
Yes.
Wow.
How did you get that turned around? Because sometimes I've decided I like Charles better than Jeff.
It
Charles
does.
is my actual first name.
Yeah. Right.
But I can't get it going. Really.
It doesn't stick. He's tried really hard.
I don't think that there wasn't like an event that happened that after that, but when you meet new people, introduce yourself as Charles.
You just had to
And then
cut
it
a lot
kinda
of people
sticks.
out is what you did.
Yeah.
You killed a bunch of people out of your life.
Yeah, I
got
killed
you.
them off. Yeah,
Absolutely.
one by one.
No, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Is that what I need to do?
I mean, you could
Surely
try it.
not.
Try it out.
I don't...
It's just I'm going to move to Seattle next week, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean, that would
that's what I
definitely
call
work.
myself now.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yes.
But to do it where you're existing, boy,
It's
that's
hard.
I mean, I feel like, it was just an easier name for people that they look at, the names list first day of school and they're like, oh, I'm not even going to try this one. That's what I always got because my last name was Gaforafar too. So Parnian Gaforafar is a mouthful.
What kind of name is that?
It's Iranian. It's Persian.
Iranian.
Yeah.
Cool. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you know, trivia question time.
Oh.
Do you know what his dad calls Aaron?
I don't think
It's not his favorite.
Wait,
What does Aaron's dad call him? Does anyone in the room know?
I feel like I've heard this on some other podcast.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit.
That's why it's a legit trivia question.
It is. Yeah.
It's gettable.
Can
Yeah.
we take guesses?
Yeah,
Junior?
you can't hurt me.
Junior?
Junior. No. I was wrong. You can't hurt me.
AJ, Aaron Jr.
No.
This is even better. He calls him Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. That's
know,
not
yeah.
at all what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
middle name's Matthew.
Okay.
Long story short, originally was going to call me Aaron. The first ultrasound, 1984-ish. They're like, boy, girl. I think it's girl. So mom decides to name Aaron. Well, it's a
like
gender neutral.
E-R-I-N.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So next ultrasound, they're like, oh, boy. And my dad's like, well, I already pictured it as a girl. So we got to switch the name up. Mom was dead set. Got to be Aaron for a boy. And dad's like, well, just call him by his middle name then. So the whole side of my dad's family refers to me as Matt still. That's why I was asking.
Wow.
So it's pretty rare now outside of my dad and his family for me to hear Matt. But I would answer. Someone right now in the was like, hey, Matt, I would answer to it.
Really?
Yeah, it's very
Wow.
strange. So
Interesting.
Cool,
Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it.
what's the J stand for in PJ?
Nothing.
Huh?
Yeah, I think I was in
Oh my God. Did you know this?
I was in maybe third grade, elementary, some point. And they would call me PG, and then it evolved to PJ. There was another girl in my class who went by PJ, and they would call us PG, and then
Then it just became
kind
PJ.
of, yeah. And I was like, I kind of like that. It's easy.
Wow.
I'm not like the weirdo named Parnian. So
Okay.
PJ was, and then
You've assumed this woman's identity, though.
a little bit, I guess. Yeah, a little bit. Stolen
That's
her
wild.
identity.
So okay. So the J doesn't stand for anything.
Yeah. I thought about changing my middle name to like Janet or something,
Yeah, to make-
just to make it make sense. But
What is your middle name?
I didn't have a middle name technically.
Okay.
Yeah. When I got
Is that common in Iranian culture?
yes.
Okay.
And it's also common for the woman to keep her last name.
I see.
So when I got married, my dad wanted me to keep my last name. But
Yeah.
I really didn't want to. I really wanted to be an Atkins,
What
not
if-
Gaforafar.
Yeah, what if Chris would have taken your? We should address that elephant in
Chris
the room as
Gaforafar.
well. That you know Chris Atkins at Village Caregiving,
A little bit.
and you've known him for a long time. How do you still like him? Because I've only known him for like 3 years, and it's so day to day.
It's
You know what I
hard.
mean?
I know.
Yeah, it is.
It
It's
can be hard.
work.
You just got to take it one day at a time.
Yeah, but this week he's out of town, so it's way easier,
It
right?
is,
It's
yes.
so because like I think distance makes the heart grow fonder or
Yeah.
something. He called this morning. I wasn't as angry when I saw
Oh,
his name.
that's really sweet.
Yeah,
I'll tell him you said that.
absolutely. Hopefully he watches. I built a lot of anticipation. I told him that you don't have to be kind today
Okay.
to him
Okay.
or about him
good to know.
because he won't be home when you get there today.
That's true.
And by that point, once he hears it play back,
It'll
no
be
big
old
deal.
news, yeah.
So don't hold back today.
Okay.
Okay? You
Good to know.
promise?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hold back anyway.
This is starting to stress me out a little bit. You all have been like what, high school sweethearts? A long time, right?
Yeah, almost. It'll be 19 years in 2 days, actually.
I'll tell you what. Now, jokes aside, I've never seen a couple that loves each other any more than you two do,
Aw,
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
and really open about it. You'll
Mm.
see it on social media and stuff. It's sweet.
Well, thanks.
Something to admire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
19 years. And that's like knowing each other, dating. You guys, it was a church summer camp? Is that right? Something like
Youth
that?
group Wednesday night. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember there being a youth group involvement
Good memory.
there.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, was there at this point we're talking about the technology of what the phone would have been back then. This was like
Yeah.
Razor.
Flip phone. It
Yeah.
was blue. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember what shirt he was wearing.
Oh my gosh. He
Yeah.
probably still tries to fit into it. Go on.
I don't know that he still has it,
Probably
but yeah.
still- Oh, okay.
I can say these things
This-
all day.
You two work together so closely. I know this is your opportunity to get some
It is.
shots in. I understand,
Absolutely.
but you're making me a little uncomfortable.
Nope. They're going to be all day. So just buckle in, Jeff.
Okay, all right.
You've been warned.
What was the blue shirt?
Something about it was a poker joke. And it was kind of honestly inappropriate to wear to church.
A little
probably, but
edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
How about
it was
that?
blue.
Chris
It had
for
a
you.
guy on it, but I don't exactly remember what
You
it
think
said.
he remembers what it said?
Probably. I
Why
feel
don't you
like
call
he
him and
would.
ask him? Hey, you can. It'd be funny. How long you worked at Village Caregiving now?
It was 3 years in May, so almost 3.5 years.
That's a pretty long time.
Yeah.
How's it been?
Awesome.
So, billing specialist. Are you billing Medicaid, VA, private pay?
VA.
You're a VA
Yes.
specialist, okay. And how challenging is that right now? I don't know that we want to get too in the weeds of this, but over the course of 3.5 years, has it gotten easier, harder, same?
I think it's gotten easier. It is repetitive, so I think I could do it asleep. I probably dream about it.
I
My
bet-
fingers can like do it, and then my brain can be somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just data entry more or less. I mean, you
Right.
got to be paying attention to make
Yeah,
sure
I mean,
it
I do.
looks
I mean,
right
it's
and-
you have to have attention to detail and
yeah.
know what you're doing. But once you get the hang of it, it does get easier with time, and you memorize things, and you know.
How many units equals
Right.
what to bill, what the
Yes.
code is.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you know so many people's just addresses and just random stuff where you have to
Yes.
repetitively put it down
Right,
over
yeah.
and over and over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of that. Okay. What else is new in life, career?
Land's changing my billing up a little bit. I'm taking on a little bit more here recently.
What are you going to do? Expand the number of offices that you
Yeah,
are
she's-
responsible for?
I think so, and she's kind of shifting some things around and giving me some different things. Still VA billing for now, but
She had mentioned you've recently went full time
Yeah.
at Village Caregiving.
Yeah.
That's It's exciting. I talked to Leanne on the way down here. I got some insights.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Congratulations and thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What's your impression of village caregiving as a remote worker? So you're one of not very many people that does work remotely the whole time. And of course you have a window into the company through Chris, so that probably makes it different than most.
Yeah.
But do you ever feel like you're not as much a part of village caregiving because you aren't in the office every day?
A little bit. I mean, it can be challenging to fill in the loop sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because I am at home, I don't see faces and talk to people and know what's going on. But Chris does fill me in, and if I do have questions, he is there to kind of loop me in sometimes. But it can be challenging at times to. I mean, it's not that I don't feel like part of the team, but it is.
Yeah, it's as simple as like we're all going to go have lunch.
Right.
We're not going to think to send. It's because we're just grabbing up the people in the office next to you.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't expect
and then
that.
Conversations get missed and stuff. But I do think about that a lot. And frankly, I haven't done a very good job of it. There have been times that I have forgotten to invite the billing staff to a certain thing just because I was like running through the office physically in my mind.
Yeah.
And I've screwed that up before. We do have one coming up on Friday, Village Caregiving Field Day.
that is true.
Including some pickleball. I heard maybe a wiffle ball game.
Cool.
A lot of food and stuff. Are you coming to that?
Yeah.
God, what if she said I wasn't invited, Jeff? I would crawl out of the
Chris
room.
did mention it, so.
Okay, good. Well, and then the annual meeting. You were there last year, right?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Nashville.
We just got to make sure we do a good enough job of keeping you guys feeling involved because what you do is incredibly important and appreciated. But
Well, and I think it just comes with the nature of the job. I mean, we gain so much from working from home and being able to, be home with our kids and work on our own schedule and those things. So it can't be necessarily both things perfectly at the same time. So
yeah.
it's completely understandable. And I know if I do ever feel any type of way that it's never intentional. So.
Well, I appreciate the forgiveness on that.
Oh.
I have whiffed on that a few times.
Yeah, I would take it super personal. If given the opportunity, obviously you're in a season of your life right now, the kids are young and it has worked out well where you've been able to work remote. Is your preference to work remote? I mean, if you look over the longevity of your career, do you enjoy the freedom that comes with that? Or do you miss that in-office environment?
To be really honest, I am so grateful that I do work from home because my oldest is just now going to school and I kind of have a little bit of that flexibility with her being gone. But eventually I would like to be around other people.
Yeah, to work back then. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
and it's not that I'm like extremely extroverted, but the little bit of social life would, that comes with working with other people is nice.
I've thought about that. You ever thought about that? I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit challenging in your case for the remote work stuff. You could do it, but
Sometimes I do.
yeah.
If I'm out of the continent for 2 weeks.
But I think about that, like the freedom. I would still have to. I think I would still be pretty regular. Like, do you have at this point a routine where you're like, all right, by 9 o'clock I have to be in front of this computer, or you'd have to be structured. The day would just get away from you every day.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have to stick, and the job does require me to be very consistent with that, because if not, if I procrastinate or I'll get to it later, then it just piles up because it doesn't go away. You have to do it and complete it. So,
how long you think you could make it
as a remote worker?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've never really been put in those shoes. So if anybody is listening to this, how long do you think you could be happy as a remote worker? I really have no idea. I'm trying to be honest on the spot. I don't think I would prefer it, because I do believe that on some level we're all social animals. And if you're more gregarious and outgoing, and I tend to be like that, I like conversations. But there are surely people that are listening to this that are like, well, that's not me at all. And my dream is to work from home. So I don't know. I mean, I could do it forever, I guess, but I don't think I would prefer it personally.
I got you.
What about you?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think I would get disconnected too quickly from just like adult stuff. Like, especially I mean, if you're like, don't have kids at the house or whatever. I don't know. I think I could do it. And my idea in my head is that like I could do that. Like I would make it work. But I don't think very long. I don't think I'd be very successful at it very long, or at least find much enjoyment in it. The freedom that would come with it I would miss the interaction. I like to have conversation, debate, those sorts of things. I think.
Let me ask you, Parnian. Now, you got to be honest right here. I'm being serious. I'm staying on the same topic.
Oh, boy.
You say that you schedule I got to be, Aaron said, by this spot at this computer by 9 o'clock or whatever it is. Now, do you really always stick to that with nobody to oversee that? Or is there sometimes that this week I'm just going to kind of put it off till the end of the week and I'll knock it all out at the end? No wrong answers
right.
here.
I'm
going somewhere with this.
There's times when I am waiting to receive work, so that doesn't necessarily stick to my schedule. But if I have, I'm really bad at relaxing or not doing something productive.
I see.
I think it's a character flaw, honestly. So if I have work waiting for me, it will drive me insane. I have to do that first. It's like I have a priority list in my mind, and I have to do that first before I can go on to my next thing.
So
the next important thing.
The thought of procrastinating, putting that off until the end, just no way you would deal with it.
No, because I always worry that something will happen, some emergency will come up, or the system will go down, or something will happen, and then I don't get it done. And that's never happened before, but it could, and then the billing cycle starts over again, and then it's just a never-ending cycle. So I would rather put other things off until I finish my work and then get to those things.
Yeah, well, that's good and smart and everything that you would hope to do, right? But unfortunately, that's not the way it is for many people. Often used to be myself. Before I get to that, what about you, Aaron? Are you a procrastinator, or do you need to check it off early as you can and get it over with?
So I will not find pleasure in knowing that I'm like delaying it. Like, let's say something's due by Friday. I'm a definitely have it done by Tuesday guy. That's not to say I'm a fantastic employee. I have a lot of flaws, which you know about. But from that particular thing, meeting deadlines, I do try, because it lives in my head. Like if there's an email I haven't responded to, it will. And that's why I tell people, if I haven't responded to your email, it's gotten lost somehow, because I'll reply to it. May not even be the ideal answer, but I will, because it just lives in there and drives me crazy. That probably makes me a pretty decent employee. I'm guessing, like in your case, Leanne doesn't have to wonder like, oh, is she going to meet the deadline? You're always ahead of the deadline. It shows up in other places. It's annoying in life, but
laundry is one of my things.
Were you all always this way? Like, so let's say now you're in high school and you've got a paper that's due by Friday morning. Are you cramming that thing Thursday night, or
no?
You've always been a get ahead of it.
I mean, I don't think I was as particular about it when I was younger. Maybe I remember procrastinating some things that I didn't enjoy doing. Maybe.
I was way more curious about like I was too curious in high school about like what happens if I just don't do it.
Yeah. Like how far can you push that boundary?
I know. Yeah, and I did. Yeah. I was not a great student. That's why I tell people the adult learner Aaron, nursing school Aaron, could have went to Harvard. High school Aaron maybe shouldn't have graduated high school. Like I became a different person when I started paying for it. We should make high school kids pay for their education. I know for me, it would have turned things around very early. Yeah, I don't know. I took it way more serious, like deadlines and stuff. I was not that person. And like 12 to 18 Aaron, way different than early 20s Aaron.
Yeah, well, same. And that's kind of why I was curious, because when I was in school, I was the king of procrastination. But I was really, really good at the very end. And I took pride in that, even though it was probably stupid. I was like, man, you give me like a little window of time under the gun, I'm going to bang out something. And I even had a saying for which I'd be like, hey, if you put it off to the last minute, it only takes a minute to do.
Oh, no.
And I lived like that. And it worked. And I had made excellent grades. I was like that through law school. I would cram at the very end in those 2 weeks of exams, and that's just how I always was. And I don't know when it changed exactly, but I couldn't be more the opposite now. And I think it's just because back then I had like one paper to write most of the time, like that week, or there was one test on Friday. It's like, there's like a million things. I could watch football tonight or go out and hang out with my buddies, whatever. And so then I just wait till the very end and do it. It could even be like whenever we were played in a like rock and roll band, we would go into a studio to record a song, and I wouldn't have even written the lyrics to it the night before. And we had paid for this studio time, and I would just stay up all night and I could write all the lyrics, like half the songs on an album.
Wow.
Because my brain would not get into a spot where I felt good about it until it was right, like under pressure, right? But nowadays, it's so different because I think if I don't hurry up and do it right now, first thing, I just know that I'll forget to do it.
Yeah.
I'm too worried that I've got so much stuff going on. Like if I don't do it right now, God, it's 10%. I'll even remember it. So necessity brought it about more so than a light bulb going off in my head maybe.
I've noticed that, like, if other people are depending on it, like in school, and I mean, if I turned in my history homework, it was on me or not. But now, like, if I don't do something, it could impact the team. It could impact that branch. It could, with my family, it could impact my kids or my, like, if I don't pay the water bill, they're just going to turn it off. And I'm probably okay. I have a shower in my office. They don't, and so I think there's part of that as well. I've become way more proactive because other people depend on that proactivity, right?
Yeah.
If you wait till the last minute.
I hate making people wait for me.
Yeah.
And I've told Leanne that. I'm like, I never want you to be waiting for me. Like, I want to make sure that I get done with plenty of time. I don't know if it's like a childhood trauma thing. Like,
Sure.
Like you were pushed, hurry up. And then you get anxious. And
Yeah.
I don't ever want to make anybody wait for me or like wait for my response. I want to like let them know immediately if I can, at least.
It makes you a great employee. Not much I do know for sure. That those character traits, well, again, whether you type childhood trauma or not, boy, it does make you productive in the workforce. Yeah.
Well, I'm not just saying this. Parnian is amazing. I mean, I've never sat there and visually observed your work, but I see what you do, and Leanne relays, and it's like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Leanne makes it
you're top
easy for me.
notch of doing
Thank
what you're doing. Let me ask you this: outside of work, let's get off work for just a second. Talk hobbies. You were talking about your kids earlier, and I mean, you and Chris have the two like cutest little girls that have ever been put on the earth. Not that little anymore. How old are they now?
12. Layla's 12,
God,
and Maya is 5. Yeah.
12. Wow.
I know. I need an adult most of the time to.
So they occupy a lot of your time and your heart and attention and everything. I know that. But when you do have some time for yourself, what do you enjoy doing?
I like to work out a little bit here and there. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. I do that a lot while I'm working.
What kind of podcasts?
Of course, this one.
Oh,
Right.
well, thank you. I mean, that's obvious, right?
Are there
Everybody.
others out there? Are there other podcasts?
I don't know. Are there? I
I
don't
thought
know.
that this was.
I thought this was
we
it.
started it.
Yeah. No.
Do you listen to true crime podcasts?
Sometimes,
Oh, no.
but
Why
then
does
it
everybody
like
listen to
creeps me
people-
out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it like
So
keeps me
dark.
up at night. So
Yeah.
We've got
quit
to
doing
move
that.
on from this, I think,
But
as
I
a
will say-
society. Killing each other and then
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it.
It's
Until
heavy.
we do, I think we should maybe pick up on a true crime podcast because it would get our clicks way up. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start right now.
Okay.
So, who has died today?
Yeah. So maybe let's see. We could do. I don't even think it has to be a true story. We just have to reflect it like it's true. Okay.
I'll give you a true one.
Go ahead.
In the swamps
Oh, not
of Louisiana.
Yes.
I used to live there.
In the bayou.
I know that. I knew
I
that
saw
about
it.
Parnian.
I saw it happening.
Yeah. Okay.
He was her first cousin once removed.
What was his name?
His name?
Yeah.
It was a lady.
Oh, the lady is who died.
Yes.
Oh no.
Her name was. Excuse me. Should I say her name? Is it okay to say?
We have to.
Can
It's
we
on
reveal
the
it?
podcast. Yes. It's
Yes.
on the
I mean, I guess
It's
it doesn't
been
matter.
on the
Public
news.
record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could check the newspaper.
Okay. Her name was Margaret, but he called her Maggie.
Oh,
Cousin Maggie.
I'm
So-
sorry.
One day, she's freshman in college, I think.
Yeah.
Young,
Oh,
but an adult. And she had just met a new boyfriend. She was telling everybody about him.
Toxic.
But right, there were red flags right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Was
so
he from her town?
He was, but he had just gotten there.
Oh, so they didn't know each other.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Oh,
new.
okay.
Right. And so it was one of those things where immediately she's in love. They were already talking about engagement from like, what, a week or two in?
Too early.
Yeah, it was
Red
crazy.
flags.
And
Yeah.
everybody was telling her, slow down, don't do this.
Yeah.
And then he had these weird habits.
What was his name?
His name was James.
Maggie and Jimmy.
Yeah, well, they didn't call him Jimmy. But
Okay.
Jimmy was his dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So he was James.
He was James. And they would go out with friends, and I mean without exception, every time end up just abruptly just gone in a fight. They didn't know what was going on. And then the friends started seeing that he would be outside like chugging a bottle of like vodka and just smashing it on the walls
Oh,
and screaming.
What was
not
Maggie
even at
doing
her,
with this
just
loot?
screaming
Yeah.
into the woods and stuff. And they were like, Maggie, your boyfriend has got issues.
he's out there howling like a wolf.
Pretty much.
Oh,
But
well, this can't end well.
well, we're trying to figure it out exactly what happened.
Is there a chance that you could do just maybe a very quick recreation of some of the things he would say and do while outside in an authentic Cajun voice?
Yeah, well, he would kind of just he'd get really, really upset, and he would say things like, "Oh no!"
Wow.
And he would wreck several crawfish boils a week.
Oh,
People are trying to
That's
have a good
awful.
time,
yeah.
and it was rough.
God, part 2 is going to be so awful.
Well, here's the cliffhanger. So they're going to take a weekend camping trip. Need I say much more?
No.
Okay, but that isn't even the end of it. It turns out they ended up in a canoe that he supposedly knew was going to spring a leak, quote unquote, leave her body in the middle of the lake.
swamp?
It was a lake
Oh,
out on
okay.
the swamp, yeah.
Yeah.
To be eaten by crocodiles, no evidence. But as this is going down, 2 members of the community, they're out there doing night fishing, looking for gators, whatever they're doing,
Yeah.
come upon this whole scene, see it go down, and that's how James ended up getting busted for what he thought was going to be a clean crime. But we can talk about it next time.
Oh, I can't wait now.
Part 2 coming.
Golly. Ah,
Anyways, Parnian, what's your favorite TV show or book or movie?
yeah.
TV show. Book. My favorite book is probably Kite Runner. Have you guys read that? It's a good
I
one.
see it on Danielle's shelf at the house.
it's
but
good.
continue on.
What all did that win? Big awards, right?
Yeah.
Was it a Pulitzer, or am I making this up in my mind?
No,
Gosh, we're
I
going
don't
to edit
remember
that
what
out. I should know better than to say things like that. Unless it's right, in which case, had it all along.
Yeah. My favorite TV show, I have a lot, probably. There's some really junky things that
Don't get us back on ones where people get killed and they have to figure it out.
I don't watch a ton of true. I don't know. Sometimes it just depends,
Yeah.
like what season.
If
of life
right
I'm
now
in.
you're sitting down in front of the TV and you're going to turn something on, what's that show? What's your go-to?
It's a guilty pleasure.
It's okay.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind.
It's a
What
good
is that one?
But I wouldn't say
big
it's
now.
my favorite
Yeah.
TV
Sort of
show.
like a
It's just
Bachelor?
what I would currently watch.
It's like a Bachelor type show or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
big
a
on
reality. Well,
And what's the blind part? They don't get to see him behind a curtain or something?
They are divided by a wall. They're in these pods, and then there's a wall, and they date different people, and then they like narrow it down to a few people, and then finally 2 people choose each other, and then they get engaged. And then after they get engaged, they see each other in person. And then they got to try to make it work. It's really not actual reality TV. It's scripted, I'm sure.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
I've got a book here called Where to Go When, which tells you throughout various months of the year where it would be a great, amazing place to go based on the weather and the festivities that occur there in that time. I want you to give me a month of the year, randomly just pick anything.
April.
Wow.
April. Now, I'm going to give you the list of places that it recommends you go in April.
Okay.
And you tell me which one, if you could snap your fingers right now and go to, you would go to which one. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Here's your choices. Boy, there's a lot.
A lot of April choices.
Good
Heavy
grief.
travel month in April.
I've been flipping pages like I got the...
Yeah. Okay.
I would say yellow pages, but nobody knows what that is.
No.
Ready? Here you go. Would you go on a fjord cruise in Norway?
Okay.
Petra in Jordan, Samarkand, Uzbekistan,
Ooh.
Ballin Streak in the Netherlands, Kyoto, Japan,
Ooh.
Iguazu Falls in Brazil. Pick one of those 6 first.
Japan.
You go to Kyoto.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have Japan as a runner-up.
I'll be
on
honest,
page
I don't know
11.
exactly where Kyoto is. What is
That's
it?
okay. So there's 2 lists. You're up to Japan on the
Okay.
left
You pick
side.
one. We're going
I
to have a
see.
championship match.
Yeah.
Nice.
The other side is Istanbul,
Okay.
Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, the islands of Malaysia, Athens, Greece, not Georgia.
Or Ohio.
Definitely not there. Sorry to the Athens. Jesse Martin when you started.
Don't say
I
we're opening an
apologize.
office there.
Amalfi Coast, Italy. Hunter was just over there, close by. Boston. So, okay, that's Istanbul, Galapagos, Malaysia, Athens, Amalfi, or Boston.
I'll probably go to Istanbul.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, in April,
Yeah.
do you go to Kyoto or do you go to Istanbul?
Ooh.
Got those cherry blossoms coming out right then in
know,
April in
right?
Japan. I'm sure that's why it's on the list.
Japan's definitely a bucket list item, so I'm gonna go there so I can.
Have you been to
check
Turkey
that out.
before?
I have not actually, but if I did go there, I could probably have a lot of my family from Iran come and meet
That's
me.
what I was thinking. It's
So that's
nearby.
why I picked that one.
Oh, tough choice.
It is a tough choice.
Which one you going?
I guess Istanbul because I haven't seen my grandparents in.
That's a sweet
A
answer.
long
That's
time.
an unselfish answer.
Well, congratulations. Go ahead and tell her, Jeff.
Am I going to Istanbul? Where's my ticket?
You're going to Istanbul. It's I just now made this decision. 2 people, airfare, hotel, 5 nights in Istanbul.
5
Sweet.
nights?
Wow.
Is that too many or too
I
short?
don't know.
That's good.
I picked the number, okay.
That's sufficient. Yeah, it's good.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
what you get for coming on.
All right.
Now, Aaron, you do not get to go to your answer, but
Oh.
where would you have gone? You want to see the list again?
No, Boston.
I
how
mean,
they
it's
tucked it-
opening day at Fenway.
Yeah. They tucked it in there at the very end. They're like, we need something on page 94, guys.
It tells you why.
Just go with
You want to see what it
Boston.
says?
It is, right there.
Why go?
Yeah.
With the start of the baseball season, the Boston Marathon and basketball and ice hockey games in full swing. It's the month to join the crowds of adoring sports fanatics in Massachusetts' enigmatic capital. Massachusetts.
That's a tough one, yeah.
I said like 7 S sounds.
That's
in there.
okay.
Enigmatic capital. Yeah, you go to Fenway, you get to watch the Bruins and the Celtics finishing up, running the marathon.
Yeah. I know. Boston sounds great. I love that area. I was in D.C. for the Cherry Blossom Festival, and it was beautiful.
I lived
I'm
in
a
Worcester,
Boston fan,
Massachusetts for a while.
You did?
I did. It was like a suburb of Boston
Yeah.
for about a year.
We're over time, but I do have one more question. to
Okay.
ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
This right here, you know how I get the advice column and it's normally about business?
Yeah.
Well, guess what I've got this time? It's also advice column, but it's just social issues.
That's what her and I usually talk about. She calls me every Thursday, and we always talk about these things.
We do. Yeah, every Thursday.
That's me just ruffling the paper for those listening and not watching. Let me ask you about helicoptering as a parent.
Oh, helicopter
oh, no.
parents.
I'm a really good helicopter parent.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about something else. On the next episode, I'll ask Rachel about helicoptering as a parent. How about this one? Oof. Okay, this is going to get heavy. You ready? It's in the New York Times. I ain't making this up. It's called Secret Son.
Okay.
My brother, now deceased, had a son with another woman while he was married to his wife. We didn't know anything about it. This nephew has since revealed himself to me, my children, and my late brother's children, and we have all come to love and accept him. Now he wants to introduce himself to my brother's widow. She may accept him as he hopes, but I expect she will be shocked and hurt by her husband's infidelity and reject him. Should I discourage my nephew from telling her? Man.
How is that helicopter?
I haven't read these ahead of time, by
No,
the way.
he skipped that one because you said you
gotcha.
were good.
That's not a
That makes
helicopter.
way more sense.
That's very appropriate in every way, is to consider this one carefully.
Huh.
Should she discourage her nephew from telling her, sorry?
Oh, time out. This is number one. Assuming that the children are adults at this point, like that this guy maybe died of old age, hopefully.
I think that it seems that they're at least older. Yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that everyone here is over the age of 18. Why have the children of the deceased not told mom? Like, hey, by the way, Bobby that keeps showing up on our Facebook, Dad's illegitimate son.
I guess to spare her feelings would be the answer, right?
Well, I don't think that the dead man's sister should be the one communicating to the widow, hey, by the way, you're not going to believe this, but my brother, your husband, absolute piece of crap. And as a result, Bobby, get in here. Come in here, buddy. No, this is not extended family conversation. This is adult children sitting down with mom being like, hey, any chance you have a bonus kid? I think there's a strong chance mom's going to know. Maybe doesn't. I think
he's
mom,
onto something.
I think mom knows.
Parnian?
She probably does.
What do you think you'd do here if you're the aunt?
Oh,
I mean, I feel like if she doesn't know, she deserves to know.
yeah.
I think honesty's the best policy there.
So you should tell your nephew, sure, go ahead and talk to your
I mean, it's a tough conversation, but
dad's widow.
Here's one question, though. What is now son going to gain from this? This woman is no relation to him.
Well,
but maybe she wants to.
she's still an important
I guess
person
she
in this
probably-
family circle somehow, I imagine. I mean, it's not like she just ceased to exist.
Right.
They have their own kids together. They're going to get together at holidays or whatnot. And this guy,
God, she could.
it's not his fault. Let's be
No,
clear
it's-
about it.
no,
He
these-
just wants to be
no,
part of a
yeah.
family here.
Oh man, if mom takes this wrong and all of a sudden she's banning the children from talking that don't have anything to do with him.
This is like the touchiest thing we've ever read.
Oh man.
I got to hand it to the New York Times. You guys are okay.
Yeah. You've done it now.
You want to see what the answer said from the
Well,
advice?
Yeah.
hold on, time out. So
Okay.
that was your opinion from the aunt side. What if
Right.
your mom in this situation? Are you wanting the phone call, or would you rather just roll through the rest of life thinking,
I mean, I guess she probably. I feel like you're probably right that she had a hunch. I mean, she had to have known there was something going on. But
Let's assume she did not.
Okay.
You're completely
she just thinks
clueless.
he was.
Do you want to know
Perfect.
that? Or do you want to just go on never knowing that?
I probably wouldn't want to. At that, I mean, what is she gonna?
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna change anything. But
I'm good to go through life completely
Yeah.
blind on stuff. Like
From
people
her
is like,
side,
oh, he
yeah.
needs to know. Nope. Lived a great life.
Your view, and I'm being serious,
Yeah.
is like life is hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
We got to all make it through somehow. Let's not try to break my
Right.
psyche with one more
yes,
bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's what the paper said.
Okay.
Aaron was really onto it here. It says, a secret, as my mother always said, is only a head start. The truth comes out eventually, and now that so many members of your family know about your brother's son, it is probably just a matter of time before your sister-in-law learns about him too. So to your question, I suspect it won't matter in the long run what you say to your nephew. Still, assuming this revelation will be painful to your sister-in-law, it may be kinder for one of her children or someone else with whom she is close to break the news to her and to ask her if she wants to meet her husband's son. None of this is his fault, of course, but it's not her fault either, and she has no obligation to meet the child of her husband's extramarital affair. I think you guys were all over it.
Well, we do this. I'm
We
not
solved it,
shocked
yeah,
by
Does
it.
anybody else
Every
need
Thursday.
advice in the room?
Hey, got any personal family drama you want to air out and let us get through it here?
Hunter, you just got married.
Yeah.
Just got back from your honeymoon. Had any problems on that trip?
Wow. Didn't get to know each other a little too well, then find out, oh boy. Because you were telling me something before we got on camera. I'm just kidding.
That was a joke. Don't a lot of fights happen on honeymoons though, right?
I know.
It's like super high stressful.
Yeah.
You're out of the country. Maybe you've never had this experience. It's easier to
Buyer's
start
remorse.
picking at each other than like
remorse.
chill.
Yeah.
I don't think it's buyer's
That's what you
remorse.
said?
It's an unfamiliar setting. Okay. All right.
It's never good when the audience looks shocked at the things we say.
I know. Parnian, thanks for answering some of these crazy questions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything that you want to leave us with? Any odd fact known by few, or a weird thing you came across on social media or a film or a podcast that you think is cool and worth sharing?
That's
It's a tough one. Wow.
I think there's a
think
fight outside.
He
Did you
had
hear that?
something to say.
yeah. We'll get him in here.
Yeah, let's see if we can recruit him. That guy will have a lot of opinions.
He'll have a lot, yeah.
What's he look like, Austin? Can you see him?
He's a tall guy.
Tall guy.
Tall guy with kind of a loose shirt.
A
Ooh,
loose
shirt. Tall guy, loose. That's not James from part 2 of the story, is it? Okay.
Oh, James isn't. Well, I can't spoil
Oh,
it.
no.
I don't want to give it away. Okay. Anything come to mind? Or any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with today?
Just, I don't know. What I've been trying to do is just work on myself and get comfortable being uncomfortable. There you go.
Oh, that's
There's a
uncomfortable.
good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's similar to what my main practice I'm on right now is to, rather than work against the energies of frustration or disappointment or failure, just to try to work with that energy, surrender to it, and find it as an opportunity to practice with it.
Yeah,
Really tough to do though,
I'm sure.
but it's similar to what you're saying, I think.
Yep.
All right, I'm out of questions, brother.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, anything beyond this is just going to be hurtful to Chris. So we might as well just go ahead and stop here.
respectful.
Chris, I bought as much time as I could there to spare you ridicule and teasing from your best coworker here.
We're going to go into overtime on this one. We'll take a quick break here, and then I'd like to dive into why Chris thinks his culinary skills are so much better than yours, but yours are clearly better than his.
Oh, that's really rude.
yeah.
He said
I know.
that.
He that basically. I can't
Wow.
remember exact quote, but something similar to that. And then I'd also like to talk just about his addictive behaviors and hobbies.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I'm certain you and I share a lot of opinions on
Yes,
as
yes,
well. So,
yeah.
but yeah, we'll do that on part 2.
Sounds
Okay?
good. Yeah, we'll dive into it.
Cool. Well, for the sake of this one, let's go ahead and finish up.
Cheers, party, and thank
Cheers.
you.